Oh, welcome everyone to an all new Loud Casa Talks. Or not Loud Casa Talks, but it's more of a Casagrandes episode reviews. What's up? It's been forever, 2 weeks already since we haven't done our last episode. But you know what? A lot of issues happened, but we're able to come back. And you know what? We actually ended up having a brand new introduction video. So I've got to give some shout outs to I am Haps, who's actually in our chat today. But yeah, congrats to I am Haps for actually making that intro video. So awesome. But yeah, welcome to everybody to our new to a new Casa Grandes episode reviews video. My name is Nate, and Omid is on my right side. So how you been? Are you okay? Are y'all good? Ready to go for this one?
Yes, I am. Let me tell you, it is good to be back. And it is good to be back healthy and happy. And of course, I hope you all love the new intro that we have for you guys because let me tell you, it kicks ass. I mean it. Like, it gets you pumped up for what is to come. And let me tell you, like, I am happy you did such an awesome job with it. And let me just say thank you so much for putting all your hard work into this.
Yeah, he definitely got it for us. I mean, he was definitely awesome when it comes to that entry. I think we only had like a few entries that came in, but he was the one that actually stood out for me, and I was like, okay, we'll pick that one because that actually ended up being like an epic introduction video to say. Now the
Oh,
Loud Casa
yeah.
Talks is now we can actually enter the Loud Casa Talks in without any like black and white 30-second countdown. But yeah, it was awesome that he was able to do it. And FYI, did you recognize the song in the background?
Yes. It's from the Loud House movie.
Okay, so you knew it. I
Regular,
was like,
boring,
I was wondering
ordinary
if other
me.
people didn't know that. I was wondering if other people didn't know that, but I
It's
told I am
it's
Haps to
ordinary
actually,
me. It's
yeah,
ordinary
it's
me
the
from the
song
Loud House
"Ordinary
movie.
Me" from the Loud House movie, and I was like, "Oh, you did a good
Yes.
job with that." Please,
And you want
let's.
to know how I recognize it? When it said family. When Lincoln sung that harmony family, that's when I knew, yep, that's it.
I mean, that was awesome just to see the fact that he actually collaborated with another person too, and they actually ended up making a remix of the "Ordinary Me" song. And it turned out to be pretty epic. So I'm pretty happy that they worked together, made this video, and it's awesome that we were able to have this as our new introduction video. So I am Habs. Congrats! You're now officially like permanent in our Loud Casa Talks podcast and our episode reviews. So congrats on that, sir. All right, so without further ado, let's actually talk about what happened these last 2 weeks while we were away. Segment now. Um, Obviously, Omid did put it up literally the day after our last episode reviews that he ended up getting COVID. Um, you want to explain your story about it, or is it like a little too personal?
Um, I'll just go ahead and you know, lay out what happened these past 2 weeks. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but it's just going to be like a little, you know, basic summary of what happened. So, pretty much what happened was that, like during that time, I was starting to feel symptoms like during the time when we were doing. It was during the day when we were doing this Loud Constant Talks episode last the last episode. Like I noticed during that day when I developed symptoms, and so the day after, I pretty much because I noticed that I've been getting a lot of symptoms have been developing. Like I was not feeling well. Like I got fever, nasal congestion, cough, sore throat, all that
Mhm.
stuff. And so that's why I
Did that
just
happen on the day when we were recording?
Um, like there wasn't a lot of symptoms back then. Like there were a few symptoms, but then the day after that was when the symptoms started to get real, and that's when there were more symptoms um, that did come to fruition. So that's when I decided to pretty much test myself to see if I did have COVID or if it was just a cold that I could get over. It turns out that unfortunately the worst case scenario was true. And of course, I did end up testing positive. So what happened was that for a week or a week and a half, I pretty much stayed at home and trying to take care of myself, drinking lots of fluid, drinking lots of orange juice, laying in bed, binge watching a lot of Gravity Falls, and yeah, trying to make sure that you know
You had to you had to pretty
recover
much
myself.
quarantine in a house. I mean, it's tough
Quarantine,
to
yep.
actually quarantine, yeah, because you're pretty much stuck in your room the whole time.
Yeah, I had a quarantine, and like while it was nice to be away from work for a while, due to the reasons I had to get away from work, not a fan of them at all, honestly. But I had to do what I can to stay safe, to keep my coworkers and to keep
Right. I
my
mean,
friends safe and all that stuff.
that's what you're supposed to do, that you're supposed to get out of people so that you can quarantine yourself. I mean, when I had it back in January, I had to quarantine myself and it was harsh. But the thing is that I just pretty much watched shows and played video games all day, pretty much all of that. Had to, and then when it comes to like getting lunch and dinner, I just had to make sure my mom is out of the house or my mom's out of the area, and then I could be able to get my lunch and dinner. Did you have to do the same thing?
Pretty much, I had to make sure that, like, my mom was taking really good care of me, so I do give major props to her. But there were a few times where I had to tell her, please be careful. I don't want you to catch COVID as well, and all that stuff. So, like, we were pretty much trying to like make sure we were both safe and all that stuff. So,
Okay, that's good. Yeah, but now you're out of it. How are the symptoms? Are they getting a little better?
oh yeah, let me tell you now. Now, pretty much fast forward to 1 week later when I actually was starting to feel a lot better. And then, like, on that Saturday, the Saturday, which was the week after I tested positive for COVID, a week later, I pretty much tested negative, which was really good thing, really good thing. But nonetheless, I was still pretty much resting up a little bit before I returned to work on the following week. And yeah, lo and behold, I after much needed recovery, after much needed rest, after much needed quarantine, and like just a few days like after testing negative for COVID, finally, I'm happy to say that I am I am healthy, and I am, myself again. So yay for me.
That's good. I know that there was one thing that kind of concerned me was the fact that you lost your sense of smell. Is it back?
Oh yeah, yeah. The loss of smell. I think it was ultimately like the worst symptom I've gone because, well, like you need the sense of smell. You know what I mean.
Well, I mean,
So
yeah, you do. Yes.
yeah, loss of sense of smell. Like it was scary. It was scary. Like I honestly thought that I was gonna lose it forever, but no.
Mm.
Once I recovered, once I healed up, the smell came back to me,
So you can
and
smell roses again. You can smell like your mom's cooking. You can smell the
oh yeah,
good
man.
stuff of the.
Yeah, man. Mom spaghetti, which I do love as much as Eminem.
Of course. Okay. So that's good that you're fully recovered. Yes, it did take us 2 weeks to make sure you're fully recovered. That's why we didn't do a show last week. So we're glad to be back together, and that's all great. So good. Awesome that you're fully recovered, Omid. Hopefully you don't get it again. I really
Yeah.
hope.
Yeah,
That's
listen.
for
If there's
everybody. That's
one,
for everybody. Because right now I'm just like I'm trying to worry myself too because I had COVID also. But then the other thing too is that who knows, you can get again stupid variants that are going on right now.
yeah, listen. Like, take it from me. Take it from me, who's been through, 2 weeks of 1.5 to 2 weeks of hell, to 1.5 to 2 weeks of quarantine. Let me tell you, you gotta you gotta be safe, okay? Like COVID is serious shit, all right? Like it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't screw around. So please, like, do yourselves like a huge favor. Keep yourselves safe, okay? Wear masks, social distance if you can, and just yeah, we all gotta do our part and just protect ourselves and others from getting COVID. Oh, and also get
Pretty
vaccinated.
much,
Vaccinated
pretty
is a
much,
plus.
pretty much it. Although to be fair, Omid, I know that July 4th, it was also that same weekend that you, I think, fully recovered. Apparently, you're just stuck at home because you're still under quarantine in that case. How was July 4th weekend? Because you really didn't do much of it there, didn't you?
Um, well, nothing much. There was nothing much going on. Then July 5th was when I got back to work,
Mm,
all happy and healthy, like feeling better and all that stuff. So
yeah.
that's good. So
Yeah, but yeah, it's unfortunate though that you can't go out. I mean, for me, when I went on July 4th, I went up to Portland, visit my sister. We ended up having a fun time going up to Seattle, Portland, and everything. It's a really nice town, and the fact that we also celebrated fireworks for July 4th as well. So, and FYI, wasn't there a lot of fireworks over in your house too? Like, where they're all popping everywhere and all that?
yeah, needless to say that when it comes to fireworks, I've heard them much more than I've seen them And
Yeah.
they're not
annoying.
pleasant sounds to the
They're
ears.
annoying. I'm like,
They
that
are
was
not
fun.
pleasant to the ears.
It was all fun. It was all fun in games, but it just keeps on going everywhere. Like even in my neighborhood after July 4th, they keep on popping fireworks. I'm like, are you kidding me? We don't need this anymore. Like really don't need them. But then again, they're just stupid people out there.
No, my God, they're like they were as loud as explosions. Like they were
Yeah.
really that poppin'.
It's bad. I mean, thankfully I was able to actually get out of the Bay Area in order for me to head up to Portland and Seattle. At least in those areas, they actually still do the fireworks, but it's more tolerable compared to like, part of the Bay Area where it's just like in your neighborhood, you're just like, you're going to sleep, but then you hear a firework pop up at like 1 a.m. I'm like, you're kidding me. I'm like, I want to sleep. I don't want to do this, but yeah. All right. Anyways, that's pretty much it for our 2 weeks. I mean, Omid had COVID. I pretty much went on vacation. It was kind of sucks because like I really want to do all these reviews again, considering that these 4 episodes of the Casagrandes are actually really good. That's why we wanted to go ahead and review these up right now. So you know what? Without further ado, let's go ahead and go straight to our episode reviews for the Casagrandes. We're going to review 4 episodes. Race Against the Machine, My Fair Cat Lady, Survival of the Unfittest, and Nixed Signals. So let's go ahead and get things started with our first episode called Race Against the Machine. Not to talk about the band. Yeah, Rage Against the Machine. Okay.
Bulls on parade. Bulls on parade. Let's go.
All right. So, synopsis here for Race Against the Machine is when Mr. Chang's job might go to a faster train conductor, he has to prove that he can be just as fast as the robot. So let's start off with how the episode began. It seems that Stanley on the job as a train conductor, he looks like he's actually just a standard day for him. He actually treats his guests well. He does a great job at the train. That is until his boss introduces Stanley to a robot called Glarty. But there was something suspicious going on. Turns out his boss wants to take out all the Glart conductors with robots. So what were you thinking when you heard about this, that robots are taking over the Glart?
Yes, let me tell you, a Stanley Chang focused episode. And not only that, but it is also an episode that focuses on his job as a train conductor. As you can tell, he is very passionate about trains, and he has been throughout his whole life, thus driving him to become the train conductor that we all know and love, as well as the train conductor the Great Lake City itself knows and loves. It also helps too that Stanley, of course, is voiced by the great Ken Jeong. So having a Ken Jeong character get a main role in an episode is a plus.
I like the fact that we ever had a Stanley Chang episode, because literally Stanley Chang only does the train conductor stuff. That's it. We never expect him to actually become like really good at this job, like treating guests to a mango or a coffee, or just to make sure everybody's actually participating in the train by having everybody say choo choo. So I think it's just something that makes him motivated. It just tells you like Stanley really loves his job, and then it's the passengers that always makes the job really work out for him. So, and the other thing too is like, did you expect a Stanley Chang episode? Because it's like, okay, yeah, we have this person have an episode. We had Maybell have an episode. We had Arturo have an episode, etc. Now we have Stanley, out of all people. Like secondary characters are actually really livening it up and actually having their own episodes, and it actually works with Stanley Chang. I'm like, really, him? We never expect him to actually have his own episode.
Yeah, it's actually quite impressive how he manages to hold his own episode. Like I'm honestly waiting for the series to give Becca Chang the same treatment. Have a Becca Chang sort of episode.
Yeah, I can't. Well, that's the other thing. Like, since we're actually going down the secondary character route, are we gonna have more secondary characters have their episodes? And it's a matter of time because the season is about to end. Another thing too is that, oh god, this boss, are you serious? You want to take away the best conductor with a robot? Is this what the future is going to look like, especially with this guy around? And FYI, the robot kind of looks like Stanley too. It's like, really, we're just gonna be going with a robot instead of Stanley.
I'll actually give the episode this. Like, I'll give the episode this. Like, this episode kind of like gives a warning as to what will become a potential future where pretty much the machines take over society, where machines take over labor. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's kind of a heavy subject to talk about. But onto the boss himself. Oh my god, I really hate this guy. Like, really, you have to pretty much be a complete jerk in order to plan to get Stanley Chang, like pretty much throw Stanley Chang, like, into the dumpster, like throw him into the bin, just so that you could get like robots to work in Glart, despite the fact that Stanley busted his ass in order to make sure that Glart runs smoothly, and he pushes passion and hard work into his job. And now you just want to get rid of him? Are you serious? Come on. Like, honestly, that is just really messed up.
I mean,
but
Stanley
hey,
has been...
what can I expect? What can I expect from a boss that heavily reminds me of Cosmos Spacely from the Jetsons?
Oh my god, I hate that guy.
I said, he's Cosmos
fired. Jetson, you're fired.
I swear to God, he is definitely the modern Cosmos Spacely. How bombastic he is, how rough he is on his employee. Not to mention, his character design is similar in a way when you do think about it.
It kind of does, and also the fact that he's also short as well, like Cosmos Stanley.
Exactly.
I don't know. I mean, it's pretty interesting. I feel like it's just the way that this episode rolls with futuristic stuff. I guess the robots really want to take over the world. It kind of reminds me of Mitchell's versus the Machines,
Yeah,
that kind of stuff. It kind of feels like that. It's like, okay, it's like fine, machines are going to take over our world. We're going to go ahead and take them out and beat them up, if anything. So yeah, that's pretty much the premise of the episode, trying to beat a robot in this case. Now, little did Stanley's boss know, the kids were listening into his boss and immediately reported it to Stanley. This would lead to the kids doing whatever it takes to make the Glarty lose. For that to happen, Sidani would try to make Stanley's train faster, and Carlade tried to slow down Glarty's train. And yes, I just said the ship names because it literally was the two of them. So explain your thoughts on the kids trying to break the competition.
Honestly, I think it's very sweet of his daughters to help him keep his job. And it's even sweeter that the respective best friends of said daughters are helping them out. It shows how, of course, families help each other in time of need. And we have seen this kind of thing time and time again in the Loud Costaverse. And it really helps, too, that the race is thoroughly engaging to watch. Like when you see what happens on these two trains and when you see Sidani and Carlade use specific items in order to help Stanley win the race. Like, for example, Sidani uses coffee and butter while Carl and Adelaide do their usual stick of dancing or something like that, distracting the passengers from the.
I like that first one where Carl and Adelaide were literally just dancing in front of passengers just to let the passengers not come in.
I like that.
I like that one too. But then, of course, Glarty ended up actually trying to get rid of them by taking the music box out of all things. But yeah, the other thing too was using coffee as fuel. Can we do that, by the way? It'd be great to actually do, since gas is currently expensive right now.
Yes, I would. I would say, like, let coffee be the future. Like, let coffee be the gas for the future.
How'd you feel about that? I just feel like whenever they try their best, but Sidani, I'm going to say the ship names just anyway, but Sidani tried to do their best to like try to make Stanley's car go faster. I like the fact that they do this sort of thing. It's like, yeah, coffee's great. It makes sense for everything to become faster, I guess.
Yeah, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Like, coffee is not only helps humans function, but it also helps trains function as well. The same way. There was
also the time where Carl and Adelaide also did use gum to stick the wheels. I mean, that was pretty cool, but then at the same time it did slow the car. But at the same time, I love that Glarty was actually going to like destroy the gum and everything. I don't know. It just feels like Carl and Adelaide's plans are their kids. They will do whatever it takes to, stop it, to do the plan as much as possible with gum or music or anything like that. But then Glarty still had to be that one person who can actually find a solution to it.
Yeah, honestly, like I said before, it's interesting how both of the pairs use specific items in order to help Stanley win. Like you said, for example, the gum that Carl and Adelaide use. By the way, who would have thought that Adelaide would be such a massive gum chewer? Like, she pretty much
that's right.
And blew that gum. It's like, how do you blow that gum so fast?
He also had a big piece of gum too, like literally like a hand size. He ate it all and then just put it onto the wheels. I don't know. I guess it's the comedic value when it comes to the Casagrandes and all.
Must be.
Yeah, but nonetheless, Glartes tried to stop him, and he was able to do so. And then, of course, we also get to see Stanley. We get to see Stanley's car get faster by having Sidani use butter and make sure the wheels are slick in order for them to actually make it to the finish line. So that was actually pretty cool. All that Breakfast One had to do was pretty much squirt out all the butter, and all it is just a slick ride all the way to the finish line.
Yes, let me tell you, you gotta butter up if you want to win the race, right?
I
butter
think
up.
What was your favorite out of the 4 that we just went through?
Let's see. Out of the 4, I would have to say I honestly don't know. Like, it's hard to choose.
Are they all good? I guess they're all good.
I would say mostly the Carl and Adelaide dancing one.
Okay, that was cute. I mean, I do love the 2 of them because they're cute like that together. So I'm happy with that. I also do like the coffee as fuel. I thought that was pretty cool. The thing is, like, people are saying like, oh, it's bad for your engine. Yes, it is. But I guess for the comedic value when it comes to the Casagrandes, they'll go ahead and put it in and make sure everything goes faster, because it is true. Coffee makes you fat. Coffee makes you awake, but at the same time, it does crash you, which is what the train did as well. So
yeah, that's what it does.
It's like I guess coffee is relative to everything now.
Oh yeah, coffee solves a lot of problems. Trust me, it helps me solve mine every day.
So in the end of the competition, Stanley actually would beat Glarty, and they would achieve their goal. But there was another issue. Now that Stanley is actually the fastest competitor against Glarty, his boss wants him to run the trains that fast every day. But unfortunately, the kids are not going to be there to help him out. Like Sid and Ronnie Ann are not going to help him out with giving him butter or making coffee as fuel, those kind of examples. So unfortunately, there was Breakfast Bot that was there to slick the wheels, but that's not enough. He would not make his record time, which led to his boss to bring back Glarty and fire Stanley. So how are your feelings now that you had that big issue with Stanley trying to be that same time and everything?
Yeah, let me tell you, I do feel really bad for Stanley. Not only was he under so much pressure, trying to live up to his boss's unnecessarily high expectations. Like, let me tell you, like, his boss is just, oh my god. Like, honestly, if I were Stanley, I would go on a strike. Honestly, either that or pretty much report him to the what was it?
Police?
No. Report him to HR or the board of directors or something. Like something like higher level than his boss. Because my God, his boss is just so insufferable. Like honestly, like, you've had Stanley for years. He's an awesome train conductor, and like, you just want to get rid of him that badly. Like, let me tell you, sir, if that's the case, honestly, you deserve to go out of business.
I really don't like it. I mean, the fact is, yeah, he really beat the robot, but the fact is that his boss wanted him to reach up to those levels of being fast and all. And I'm like, dude, Sally can't do that. She did get help with Ronnie Ann and Sid, but you can't always expect that all the time. You can't really go for the fastest time every time and all. I'm just pretty happy that Breakfast Bot actually did help Stanley out when it comes to this. I know it was in a situation, but still, I mean, too much pressure on Stanley. I mean, why? Why would you do that to him? I mean, to be fair, if I was in Stanley's shoes, I would do the same thing and, leave my job. But at the same time, look, I understand Stanley's point. He loves being a conductor. That's the reason why he loves to be a part of the Glart. So that's why he had this goal of him to actually try to beat his goals and everything. But yeah, he did end up getting fired, and I'm kind of sad. I really didn't like the fact that he ended up getting fired just because he couldn't make the record. I'm like, come on, really bad boss here.
Seriously, like, oh my gosh, like, seriously, he doesn't deserve this fate. He deserves so much better.
So I want to ask you, how angry were you when Stanley's boss fired? When his boss fired Stanley?
Oh, let me tell you, I was beyond enraged. Beyond. Okay, really, just pardon my language, but like I said before, Stanley has been busting his ass for years on his job, and with such a passion too. And you decided to pretty much dump him and leave him like this? Seriously, what the hell's wrong with that guy? Seriously. Like, honestly, if I was Stanley, I would look for, like, another train conducting job, if there is any. Like, if there's any that isn't Glart, like, I would say he would just go for it. Like, maybe have a much more tolerable, maybe have a much more understanding, maybe have a much more reasonable boss than, like I said, the modern Cosmos Spacely.
Mm-hmm. My thing was, I hated this fact, just the fact that he ended up being depressed and everything. Like I love the fact that his boss even said early retirement. I'm like, really, you're really the jerk out of it all. Oh, you gotta face early retirement. And
Yeah,
then
right.
I love.
Early retirement.
Here's the thing. Even like Adelaide and Sid were all saying like, "Hey, Dad, are you okay? Are you enjoying early retirement?" Then he's just like being very happy to the girls and saying like, "Yo, yeah, happy as ever." But you can totally see that he's definitely depressed. And the fact that he ended up having like all these like train stuff around him, like a train plushie, a train toy, even train pajamas. I'm like, brah, I get it. You're obsessed with trains, but I get it. You'd be perfect as a train conductor, but it sucks that you end up having this bad that their boss had to end up being a jerk and fire you like that. Oh, like, seeing him like that was terrible.
Like honestly, I would just picture this. Like Stanley Chang's favorite show ever. Thomas the Tank Engine. I bet you anything. Stanley Chang's favorite. He loves the hell.
Even when he's older, he would watch Thomas the Tank Engine or something.
No, you'll be surprised.
I want to be surprised. I want to be surprised though.
Like honestly, like he's one of those. He's one of those adults that still continues to love Thomas the Tank Engine and still be one of those, massive fans of the entire series, like even as an adult.
I don't know. I mean, there are fans who love trains, and there's no other train show like Thomas the Tank Engine. I guess he would become a fan of that. So Stanley has no job, and of course feels really depressed about it. What's worst of all is that even with the robots running the trains, they still are giving problems on the Glart, with delays and train issues that would give Glarty a lot of glitches. So who would they go to for the solution? Obviously, Mr. Stanley Chang. And as he sits up for work, he would fix the issues with Glart and bring everyone to the destination. Stanley would end up getting hired again, and the Stanley Express is back for Glart. So explain your thoughts on these last couple of scenes and the ending of the episode.
Yes, like let me tell you, it's good to see Stanley back and pretty much proving his self-worth, proving to him that he could save the day and all that stuff. And I'm seeing the boss like crying tears. I'm just like, let me get a cup so I can drink the tears. Let me drink the tears you're sorry as. I'm drinking my dog.
Ew.
Yeah, you deserve that fate, son. You deserve that fate for what you did. Okay, I don't feel sorry for you, man. Anyway, Stanley pretty much comes back and saves the day. And that's when, like, finally, modern Cosmos Spacely finally comes to his senses and gives him back the job. I'm just like, okay, well, you shouldn't have fired him in the first place. So, you're still not okay in my book. You're still kind of like on the crap tier list. So, yeah, honestly, I would say here's hoping for redemption, but let's be honest, considering the series is about to end soon, it's not going to be the case.
I kind of feel like I love this part of this episode, just the fact that Stanley, out of all the train conductors that are over at the Glart, Stanley would be the number one person to go to be the hero of saving everything. And the other thing too is that robots aren't really the perfect thing, so it makes sense why the Glarty ended up being like all glitchy and stuff. Because like I love the fact that like he would pop up in 8 hours of a delay, and I'm like, okay, well, this is what happens when you ride with robots, I guess. And I love how the passengers ended up like getting angry at him, and of course he glitches out. The boss ends up also cries for the fact that the robot didn't work out at the end. But I love the fact that even at the end, Stanley would pop up, and I love the fact that his whole routine still happens. Like his passengers would say choo choo, and then he would do his technical stuff for him to actually make it to his destination. Also, I didn't know you can actually bring trains out of a subway. I hate that whole scene, by the way, where he literally popped the train out into the street and then brought it back to the subway. What the fuck was that?
Yeah, I'd like to see Bart do the same. Like, imagine if Bart actually did the same. That would be kind of dangerous, though.
It'd be great. It'd be great if they did that, because I can actually go to San Francisco in 10 minutes instead of like 15 minutes.
Wouldn't that be a dream?
Yeah, but I that whole funny scene there where Stanley ends up like taking does his quote shortcut and gets him to the destination on time. I'm like, this is pretty silly. This is not gonna happen, but this is just for the silly part here. And lastly, though, I mean, it makes sense. Stanley loves his job. He definitely rocks with it. So I gotta give him props. He's amazing. He's an amazing guy, and I never expected to see him have an episode, but this episode just shows that he definitely really rocks at his job and all. So if we get more Stanley episodes and he does well in the Glart, I guess, then we'll see more of those. If anything, we do get to see that culture episode. Remember Unstoppable? That was more of a Sid and Adelaide episode, but it does reflect towards the Chinese culture that you also saw. If you can get more of that, that would be awesome. That'd be cool too.
Yeah, like I said before, we got to get more episodes with the Changs. I'm talking a Becca focus episode. And not only that, a Chang prequel episode. I've been begging for a Chang prequel episode for months because it does have that kind of potential.
It does, but who knows? We only have a couple episodes until it ends. Sad face, sad face. All right.
Yeah.
Anything else want to bring up from this episode?
Nothing much, except I just want to say that Stanley Chang is awesome. Ken Jeong is also awesome. I've been a fan of Ken Jeong like way before Casagrandes, so it makes me happy to know that he would get a role in a main role in an episode of the Casagrandes, and also like pretty much a big screw you to Modern Cosmos, basically. Like seriously, we hope to never see you again.
Here's my thing. I don't think we're gonna see him again because he's just like a secondary character. So who knows if the boss will ever come back? I feel like he won't come back for a while, or ever, because the show is almost over. Oh, this is the hard part to actually say that.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. But I do love how the Chang sisters help their dad out. I do love how Ronnie Ann and Carl both help the Changs out too, because Ronnie Ann and Carl are the friends of the Chang sisters, Sid and Adelaide, respectively. So it does make sense that they would be part of a team to help Stanley. It helps that they are part of Team Stanley.
That's nothing much I can say here. I thought it was a really cool Stanley episode. We did have more Stanley. I wish we had more Stanley episodes. I mean, anything about his Chinese culture or something about another Glart episode would be pretty cool too, I guess. But it just feels like those two are the only things that can actually help with Stanley. Maybe something out of the ordinary would be great if we have another Stanley episode. But knowing the fact that this show is almost over, we don't know. It'd be awesome if we had more secondary characters have a spotlight, but we'll see. There's still more episodes before the show ends. So how would you rate this episode, Race Against the Machine?
I would rate it, honestly, an 8.5 out of 10. Like, I would have given this a 9 if not for the fact that it has such a hateable boss character. But other than that, though, I really loved Stanley Chang's role in this. I really do love how Stanley Chang manages to hold his own episode. I do love the roles that the Chang sisters, Ronnie and Carl, play. And I do love that deep commentary about how machines are pretty much taking over humans in terms of labor. It's sort of a warning to how like machines are going to be like the dominant, play a dominant role in labor. Would really you got to go with humans. Like humans, like they need their jobs, of course, to pay for food, pay for rent, and plus they got families. So like come on, don't choose machines over humans. Like humans are the way to go unless you screw up and become bad employees, in which you have to fire them and replace them with another human or machine. But I digress.
My thing is that if this is going to start the robot versus human revolution, like the Mitchells versus the machines, then then bring it on, I guess.
The Changs versus the machines. In this case,
oh god, it'd be cool if they actually did that. Oh, that'd be great if they actually did that. Maybe they have a special episode for that if they ever have a fourth season. But no, it's not gonna happen. I gotta say this though, I did like the Stanley episode. Not really a stellar episode for Stanley. I would love to see, him. I get it. Like, he's obsessed with trains and he loves his job, that he would do whatever it takes to keep the job. Yeah, he had to go through a lot of hardships when it comes to winning. When it comes to winning and getting that record and trying to get that same record too, and then dealing with being fired too. And you can just see how obsessed he is when it comes to trains too. We get it. Stanley's a huge fan of trains and he loves his job. It just tells you that Stanley loves the Glart, and it just tells you from this episode he just really is passionate for it. And not much to say. It's like meh about this episode, so I give this a 7 out of 10. Not really something stellar. It's just, this is just a simple Stanley episode. It's not bad. Not like the worst episode I've seen, but really not bad of an episode for Stanley Chang.
That seems fair.
But yeah, that's it for our rating for Race Against the Machine. So let's go ahead into the second episode that we're going to review tonight. It's called My Fair Cat Lady. So synopsis here says Adelaide wants to help the city's cats clean up their act for adoption, but can she help these angry gatos? So the episode will begin when we see those gang of feral cats attack Mr. Soley, and he would take action to them and bring them to animal control. But for Adelaide, she doesn't want them there. Adelaide now has a goal to make all the cats adoptable, and that means making sure their cat leader plays nice. So how'd you like this goal that adorable Adelaide is trying to do for these cats?
I love it. We got an Adelaide-focused episode, people, and one where it focuses on just her. Rather than her with another character like Carl or Sid. No, this is Adelaide-only episode. This is an Adelaide-only focused episode, and I love it. I really do love like the first scene that plays out in which it's Adelaide and Bobby interacting with each other. Like, it's the first time we've seen just Adelaide and Bobby interacting with each other and no one else. Like, it's the siblings of Sindani. So I really do love that nice touch. And then I do like
yeah.
And plus, who'd have thought that Adelaide could lift? Like, that girl can lift.
Apparently, she can carry Bobby. And I'm like, well, karate. That could be why.
Okay, that's true. That's true. Karate does help with the biceps, triceps. So
yeah, just letting you know that it's all about arm strength and all. Yeah, I mean, Adelaide does have I don't know. Adelaide does love animals. I mean, it does show with the fact that she ended up keeping Froggy. The other thing too is that remember that she's also with a group of zoo people. I mean, her mom, for example. So it makes sense for her to actually like care of like animals. And the other thing too is that we never see the cats in a while. The cats have always been like attacking people, being a nuisance to mostly everyone in Great Lake City. But I love the fact that Adelaide, for the first time, actually gets to see them and will do anything to actually help them. So it's like sweet old Adelaide helping out cats that have been like a menace through Great Lake City. I'm like, I never expect this to see from Adelaide. And plus, is it the first time that I've seen Adelaide and the cats actually like interact? Like, I don't think they attacked Adelaide at all, ever in the series.
I don't because like even the cats do find Adelaide too cute to destroy or attack. So
maybe I guess, but you know the cats, they just end up like ruining stuff and everything. It's like they always be a menace to the Casagrandes. They always are a menace to like Sid. They always are a menace to like everybody around Great Lake City. But I don't think I've ever expected Adelaide and the cats to actually interact, which I thought was actually pretty cute for one thing. And a big goal for Adelaide, because, yeah, if this is going to be an Adelaide episode, it'll be something much of a big goal for her to do. And no doubt about it, again, against feral cats. Good luck with that, sweet little Adelaide.
I know, like, sweet but firm. Like, what I like about it, like Adelaide, is that, she's sweet. She wants to help the cats, but at the same time, she puts them in her place. Like, she doesn't mess around. That's what I love about it.
That's cool about Adelaide. Now, here's the other thing. Did you know that the feral cats have a leader named Mr. Wiggles? I mean, we never saw the leader of the cats, apparently. What were your thoughts about the leader finally popping up out of all the times we've seen the feral cats in the Casagrandes?
Yeah, honestly, it was a surprise to me, too. I never thought that the feral cats themselves would have a leader in the first place. I thought that they were all equal in terms of their status. But it turns out that they actually do got a leader. And that leader is, well, like you said, Mr. Wiggles. By the way, that name does sound a bit familiar. It's kind of a reference. Oh, yeah. It's actually a reference. It's a reference to a cat named Mr. Tinkles from the movie Cats vs. Dogs. Like, for those who don't know, Cats vs. Dogs is like a really old movie in which the dogs pretty much have to stop the cats to take over the world. Like, let me tell you, it brings back sweet nostalgic memories for me. I just thought I'd like to bring that up.
I thought it was the Wiggles that put the reference there, because Mr. Wiggles and then the Wiggles, like the show that you grew up with when you were a preschooler.
Oh God, you got me hungry for fruit salad now, Nate. Fruit salad.
Fruit salad.
Yummy.
Yep.
I got fruit salad in the fridge.
I can't believe we still remember the Wiggles. That's something. No, okay, so this is just a surprise because, like, we always see the feral cats. They always love to run amok around Great Lake City, and then we get to see this like green, like nasty cat. Looks like she's wearing a crown too. Mr. Wiggles, out of all people, and it looks like he's not even like clean, knowing that the fact that she's kind of like scratched up and messed up and all. But for Adelaide to try to treat this cat to being nice, good luck with that. I'm like, good luck with what these feral cats are gonna do to you, Adelaide. Oh,
No,
man.
but let me tell you, like Adelaide with their massive karate skills, let me tell you this. Adelaide would still win over these cats. Like these cats don't stand a chance.
That's true. We'll see as we continue to review the episode.
I remember this is the same girl who we just saw lifting up Barbie with her own 2 arms.
Right, that's true. So Adelaide would catch all of the cats and would place them for adoption, but since Mr. Wiggles controlled them, he would let the gang of cats attack those that want to adopt the cat. So what does Adelaide do? Train them, make sure they are really nice and firm. And she does this training method to make sure the cats stay in place to stay. So First off, she does these tea parties, which first off didn't really work out. How do you explain the tea parties? I get it. Adelaide loves tea parties, and she's done that through every animal. It's just that not the cats, apparently. Apparently, the cats still attacked other guests that loves tea parties.
Yeah, let me tell you. When it comes to being a guest for a tea party, let's just say Mr. Wiggles is no Mr. Sprinkles. Let's just put it that way.
Not in this case. No, sorry, Lola Loud. This is not the fun we're talking about.
Second off, yeah, of course it would backfire. Let's be honest though. Like when it comes to feral cats and manners, they don't exactly coexist with each other. So you can expect that the tea party would end up being a disaster. Plus, I do like the fact that from the tea party scene and from many scenes beforehand, like I like how Adelaide is a mixture of Lana and Lola. Like she's pretty much Lana. She's part Lana because of her loving animals and such, and she's part Lola because she loves tea parties and such like that. So I love how she's a combination of both Lana's interests and Lola's interests.
It kind of does feel like Adelaide is both Lala and Lola in the same time. Like she loves animals, but at the same time she's adorable too. But yeah, I mean, good luck. Like I said, good luck trying to get the cats, be nice and all. Yes, I understand that she's trying to train them and all, but I don't think tea parties was the first thing, considering that they have to be social, be nice, be courteous, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Feral cats are going to be feral cats, and they ended up attacking the guests. Sorry, little monkeys. You ended up actually getting beat up there.
Yeah, honestly, let's just say that let's just say that it's pretty funny how the cats went wild more than the monkeys. Like it's the cats going bananas in that sense than the monkeys. The cats are the ones that went ape on the tea party.
Yeah, but the cats are going to be cats in this case. The other thing too is that they also try to be cute. So Adelaide would bring them over to a zoo park, and then will bring the cute people, will bring the cute animals out, and for them to and it's just training for them to be cute, and that's where they get those bows and everything. I like this little method here just because you get to see all the cute animals that we saw before. Oh, look, it's those birds that we saw that was raised by Sergio, for example. I can't believe we actually saw those birds again.
And the panda. Oh, and also
is that like Carl?
There's also the
CJ panda, the CJ panda, right?
Yeah, it's the panda from the episode in which Adelaide, CJ, and Carl pretty much do like zoo stuff, like that episode.
I mean, I love the fact they put up the callbacks of like all these animals, which is pretty cool. But in the end, they end up not really getting cute. The only thing that Adelaide would do is just put bows on them to make them look cute. How do you feel about this little training method here?
I do feel that while I do see what Adelaide is going with, I'm not sure bows alone is enough to help an animal be cute, but I do like what they're doing here, and I do really love the callbacks. Like I said, especially with like Yoon and Kwan. Look at that, it's Yoon and
the
Kwan.
birds are back. Yoon and Kwan. Yeah. Now, lastly, they tried to be obedient, and of course, this little rivalry between the dogs and the cats. That it's not really gonna go well, but in the end, what I love the fact is the fact that the cats ended up being a dog, and they turned out to be obedient to Adelaide, but they didn't turn out to be obedient to the other dogs. Yeah, this is just the cats being cats. What can you do?
Yeah, honestly, look at this. Like I was just talking about cats versus dogs, and it turns out that they inserted some cats versus dogs in this scene. Look at that. Look at that.
Also, them with bows, they got me with bows. They didn't work out with me. They're still not cute to me.
I know, like honestly, like I said, I do get what Adelaide is going with, and I do admire her intentions. But I don't think, like I said, bows aren't enough to make an animal cute. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Like you can't make a goblin cute by putting a bow on it. I'm just putting it out there.
So now the adoption option for the cats is gone. Oh, sorry, wrong. Sorry, we're gonna go back to the episode above. After trading them, it's time to go back to the adoption table for the cats, and it looks like it was going to work out, as the entire cat gang would be adopted by people in Great Lake City. That is until they attacked them. What did you expect that to happen?
Yeah, honestly, I did expect it to happen because let me tell you, like when they run out of anchovies, that's when they go berserk. All right, cats do love the fish. All right, so honestly, like you would expect them to pretty much go mad whenever the anchovies run out, and also for some reason Vito loves anchovies.
Yeah, I
He
didn't
has
know about
questionable
that either.
taste. He
Yeah, I
has
don't know about that
questionable
either.
taste. Let me just tell you, like he has questionable taste.
I mean, here's the thing: like the trading looks to be great according to what Adelaide sees, but in the back of our minds, we're like, yeah, the cats are still being feral and still attacking people. So obviously, this was about to happen. That every person that ended up picking up a cat still ended up being all scratched up and all. So I feel bad for like all the people that ended up picking up cats, like Vito, for example,
I
or
feel bad for
even young Alexis too. Yeah,
Alexis, I feel bad for the most because Adelaide, like you just gave a wild stray cat to Alexis, and because of that, Alexis got all scratched up. You should be ashamed of yourself, young lady. Come
yeah.
on. Alexis deserves better. Alexis
Poor
deserves better.
Adelaide, but Adelaide didn't know any better.
And
Don't keep
also,
punishing Adelaide.
he's your friend too. He's your friend.
Yeah,
And also,
I know.
you're part of Carl's OT3. Okay, like gotta.
Oh, OT3.
Come
Here we
on,
go.
don't do Alexis like that. You're part of the OT3 with Carl. So.
Oh, jeez. But yeah, I mean that was gonna happen eventually. It was just like to continue the episode. Plus, at the same time, yeah, these are still feral cats. Adelaide, you still needed more training to get it to work. So yeah, now the adoption option is gone for the cats. Now what does Adelaide have for the cats? To hide them from the animal control guy. She would try to use the zoo to keep the cats away, but it did bring animal control to the zoo. So explain your thoughts as Adelaide tries to find a way to save the cats.
Well, yeah. So pretty much, Adelaide, pretty much has to do her best to find the cats, and I do like how, Becca sees this, and then Becca, like she's pretty mad at Adelaide. Like she's like,
but it's just
you
like
can
what a
tell
mother
Becca's
does.
pretty. You can tell, Becca's from that, angry mother face. It's like.
It's weird how the cat becomes a T-Rex too, and then he's like, "Oh, there's a T-Rex," and then everybody's like pointing and taking pictures and everything. I'm like, "Yeah, stupid."
or rather, it's a T-Rex.
Oh yeah, that's what Adelaide says too. Yeah.
You know what I like to call it though? Catzilla. Like Catzilla.
Okay, yeah, the Catzilla. Yeah, that can work too. But yeah, I mean, I love the fact that Adelaide tried her best to hide the cats by putting them into the monkey cage. That didn't work out because the monkeys ended up getting beat up. I hate the fact that like the cats ended up being a T-Rex and then scare the crocodile that was in the pit. Oh, I'm so sad for him. I guess that's what the feral cats are, mean people, and apparently being mean to a crocodile is also another thing too. And I hate the fact that like literally at the end of that, he ends up becoming a T-Rex, and then everybody all goes like, "Where's the T-Rex here? Yeah, take a picture." And then he starts rubbing around everybody.
Yeah, I know. Like the CA T-Rex was so massive, it even managed to scare alligator Loki. Like it's really that.
There's no reference to Loki there. There's no reference to Loki there.
You're right, but unfortunately, there is a reference still, and it's the reference in which the animal control guy from a certain
Oh
previous
yeah,
episode is back.
that old episode. Yeah, that old episode.
Yeah. I still stand by that. Like his motivations for doing what he did in that episode, they are beyond stupid. But at least here, like at least here though, like his motivations and doing what he's doing, it actually makes much more sense. Like
it's more tolerable considering the fact that it's cats. I mean, they are running amok, and it makes sense why they had to be caught by animal control.
Exactly. It's not for any petty reasons. No, it's what makes sense for his job, because these cats are wild and these cats need to be put in controls that has animal control. So yeah, of course, like he plays his role here much better here than he does in that episode. So yeah, that's a plus.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Adelaide would apologize for hiding the cats and for animal control to take the cats. But instead, he had a rat problem in his hands. Now, the rats also did go crazy. Like, they literally take control of the animal control bus. And apparently, the rats are, like, huge in Great Lake City, that even if he caught all the rats, they would still be manageable to control everything to say. But the rats would go crazy too, and as soon as they met the cats, this giant battle between the two animal groups happened. This led to the solution that the rats keeps the cats in check, and without them, they do run amok. And when the rats begin to kick the cat's ass, the whole crowd would go for the cats, and then they would end up victorious. This whole battle here felt so interesting. I mean, what are your thoughts on cat versus rat battle?
Yes, let's go. Giant cat versus giant rat in a spectacular war of titans. Look at this. This is beautiful. Also, screw Godzilla versus Kong. This is the ultimate battle between the two giants we've always wanted. Okay, like this is the new Godzilla versus Kong. It's so massive. It's so awesome to see. Like you got a giant huddle of feral cats versus a giant huddle of rats, like duking it out. There you go. Like all that's missing is Gnomezilla. Like, you know, it kind of reminds me of when all the gnomes were assembling.
Oh, so just like Gravity Falls. Okay.
Yeah, it heavily reminds me of that. But it's the same thing here, where all the cats assemble to make, you know, CA-T-Rex / you know, Catzilla, and then the rats do the same, where they all combine together to make a, you know, giant rat. Look at this. Like the rat is pretty much what if Mickey Mouse became a Titan?
Oh Jesus,
that sort of thing.
Literally a big mouse itself. I gotta say this though, this was pretty epic. It felt like one of those mech battles that you see in anime. So it's like one strong mech versus one big monster, and all they do is try to fight each other. And of course the mech ends up losing, and then with all this motivation from the crowd, the cats would become victorious and beat up all the rats. I just felt that battle was just pretty epic, like how it goes. But wow, I think this was a huge anime reference here.
yeah, I could definitely see that. You know, it's, you know, like Attack on Ratten,
Attack on Rats, Attack on the Rats. Or but you know what though, I do love this whole idea of like I don't know what, it just feels like the rats can form into anything and the cats can form into anything. So like the cats can form into a car, for example, and even a T-Rex. And then they, of course, form into this big, huge cat person. And it just tells you that, you know what, these cats could end up being victorious just like that. So what happens is that in the end, they do end up beat up the rats. And it turned out to be, like I said, a pretty epic battle. I do love the fact that this was fun. But wow, really corny in a way.
It really is. It really is. But then again, Casagrandes does tend to be corny anyway. Same with
I know. It's really corny, but at the same time, I really love the fact that it was, you know, a reference to anime, and just the fact that these two giants are battling. It's like, oh, awesome. Good thing nobody died, like Attack on Titan, for example.
Yeah, exactly. Like everyone remained unscathed. So, and also
except the fact
that except for the rats. I do love the part that, like, you know, of course, they took it out. And then, of course, the cats win. So the feral cats are the heroes. So, yay. Like, let me tell you, though, the victory, it was perfect. It was a perfect victory.
Okay, I get it. Perfect.
Like, I was me-wowed by
Okay,
the
okay.
fight and by the outcome. I was me wowed.
Okay, you're trying to be Luann here for a second here. No, but yeah, it was pretty epic, and I love the fact that like the crowd definitely motivated them to beat up the rats, and that's pretty sick. All right, so Adelaide actually would think of a solution after this battle, and have the cats become the next rat enforcement squad for the town. So the cats would be free from animal control, and that they could do whatever in town as long as the rats are in check. So how'd you feel about this whole ending that the cats end up like still being stray, but at the same time because have a brand new job to actually protect the town against the rats?
I do love it because it gives the cats a sense of purpose. Like pretty much before this episode, the cats were always just the alley cats, the stray cats that would cause trouble to the humans because they didn't really have any purpose other than, of course, finding food to eat from the garbage and the dumpster and all that stuff and scaring the humans away. Here, however, what I love about this is that Adelaide plays a significant role in not just helping the cats trying to avoid animal control, but she also helps them give a sense of purpose, their purpose to live, and their purpose is to pretty much get the rats away from the humans. So that's what makes Adelaide really shine here in this episode, and that's what makes Adelaide and her relationship with the cats shine even more.
And I do love the fact that like Adelaide, through all the effort that she ended up doing, she still did make a goal for the cats to not be in animal control. Instead, have the cats actually control the rats, which I thought was another good solution. And the fact that this is just a sweet Adelaide episode. Like Adelaide will do her best to make sure animals are not bad, and to make sure that that like everybody's in a safe place, not into animal control or anything like that. I just feel like this is a great goal for Adelaide to do. And just the fact that she's still a little sweetheart that she was able to get this done. And it was awesome just for a little Adelaide episode.
Yes, we stand Adelaide. Let's go.
I just hope we get to see the cats again. But who knows? We'll see them again as a rat enforcement officer.
Yeah, imagine this. Like, these cats like have their very own episode.
They could probably do. Who knows? I mean, it'd be cool to actually see the cats again in action. Who knows? Maybe being feral again, attacking people, or at the same time, possibly be a rat enforcement agent. We don't know. We'll see. Mm-hmm. All right. Anything else you want to bring up from this episode?
Nothing much I want to say except, like I said, I was me wowed. Adelaide really does shine here, and like the cats feel like a legitimate character now because of this, like and all that stuff. Of course, Adelaide with those arms, like carrying Bobby. I'm just like, the karate really did give her a lot of physical strength. So
yeah. Speaking of Bobby, I have one thing to say. Please work on your smile.
Oh God, no! How dare you, man? That is an assault on the eyes.
They literally had to smile in front of Adelaide. This is it. I'm like, yeah, work on your smile, please.
What is this? Just what is this?
That was really funny. That was amazing. I'm like, wow.
I shudder to think what happened in your school photo days, Bobby. I shudder to think what they look like.
Sorry, I had to bring it up. That was the only thing. That was like one of the only things I need to point out. Yes, it wasn't part of the episode, but it was one of the most hilarious things I've seen. Bobby, please don't do that. Give her again.
Oh my god.
Work on your smile, please. All right. How would you rate My Fair Cat Lady?
I would definitely rate this a 9 out of 10. Definitely a solid Adelaide episode, and I do love the My Fair Lady trope that is played into this. Sure, it may seem a bit cliched, especially when it comes to cartoons, but I feel that this is one of the much better My Fair Lady type stories. Of course, like Adelaide tries to help the cats pretty much escape animal control, and she does it in various ways, like teaching them manners, how to be adorable, and such like that. And then, of course, when it all backfires, animal control comes. Not being stupid this time. Of course, Adelaide, all looks to be too late. But then, like, the rats come. The animal control guy pretty much reveals that there are a lot of rats everywhere. So pretty much it gives the cats a sense of duty to turn into T-Rex and have them fight the giant rats. So, and let me tell you, like I said before, like this fight like blows Godzilla versus Kong movie out of the water. Like the most recent Godzilla versus Kong movie. No. Like this, honestly, like that entire 3 minutes of this fight was much better than the entirety of the Godzilla versus Kong movie alone. Like it was just that superb.
You know what? For an Adelaide episode, this was actually pretty cute, but I think there could be better ways of actually helping Adelaide out. Yes, this is the first interaction between Adelaide and the cats. I thought that was, like I said, a pretty meh sort of way to do it. Yes, the cats are still feral. Adelaide still trying to be very sweet and trying to help them out. One thing, there was only a couple things that I do want to like emphasize, just the fact that, like, yeah, sweet little Adelaide, but with a cat person like Mr. Wiggles, doesn't seem to be like a good fit at all. I know Adelaide tried her best to help the cats out, and it did work out in the end. The solution was just to make the cats take care of the rats. So that's why animal control cannot take them anymore. And still, I just feel like this was a good Adelaide episode. Not really like the best Adelaide episode, but I feel for her. Like she just wants to do whatever it takes to make sure all the animals are fine. She could be pretty much the next Lana in this case. Not as dirty as Lana, but very sweet and tender, like, you know, like who Adelaide is. Very sweet.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I said before, she's a mixture of Lana and Lola.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good way to say it. I gotta give this a 6.5 out of 10. Not, like I said, not the best of an episode for Adelaide, but I still feel that there could be something better for her. Like I said, meh episode to say.
Anyway, right. let's move on.
Let's move on to our next episode that is also aired during this week. Let's bring up the next episode, Survival of the Unfittest. Synopsis here says, when Arturo realizes that Bobby doesn't have any survival skills, he decides to bring Bobby to the woods for training. Now, first off, it's been a while since we've seen Arturo, and it looks to be a father-son episode, which we've never seen before. So what are your thoughts after knowing about the fact that Arturo and Bobby are having an episode themselves?
I was pretty interested to see where it was going to go, because after like this is pretty much a Santiago male version. Well, not really a version, but it's more like similar to how there was a Santiago mother-daughter episode with Vacation Days. Here, however, there's a Santiago father-son episode with Survival of the Unfittest. And not only that, though, but they pretty much have their own premise in which it's a father and son going camping. And usually camping and fishing and all this stuff, it's usually a father-son sort of bonding activity.
This one was, I never expect to actually see Bobby and Arturo actually have like their own bonding moments. I mean, we never have a full episode of actually having those two actually work together. Like we get to see Maria and Ronnie Ann, have an episode. Remember Vacation Days? So I was thinking like, what happens if Bobby and Arturo actually had an episode? And thankfully this popped up, and I was pretty happy to see how Bobby and Arturo was going to go. So yeah, I mean, like if you had a mother-daughter day, you might as well have a father-son day. And this one came out of the blue. So I was really interested to see how it goes, because we've never seen Arturo in so long. And second, Bobby, we have seen some episodes of Bobby, but with this premise like that, it does make sense that Bobby needs to learn some survival skills, because he's kind of a wimp.
Yeah, he's a total wimp. Like he pretty much like played chicken. Like he was like a total baby when the lights go out and all that stuff.
Uh-huh.
But then again, this is coming from a guy who pretty much cried to his little sister when he got a splinter. So
I remember that. Oh God.
So
and then he also happened to ask for his mom because of the like this swelling of a hand or something. I think it hurts Bobby.
It burns.
I miss. I do love that adorable Bobby. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, exactly. It does we get it. He's a wimp, but he kind of is like, you can't just say like, what the fuck, what's wrong with you, Bobby? But he's still a sweet little Bobby Santiago. All right, so let's get back to the episode, because as Bobby and Arturo were having a movie night, Arturo's power would come out. We get to see Bobby's issue right there, right in the first scene. He has no survival skills. Luckily, Arturo has learned a few things from Rubbing It, and he would teach Bobby by camping out in the woods. So how'd you like this whole idea from Arturo for him and Bobby to go out into the woods to learn some survival skills and all?
I really do like this idea because this is Arturo's opportunity to pretty much play as, the father to his son sort of thing, like teaching him like man stuff and all that stuff. So like ever since he returned back from Peru, um, he's been trying to pretty much make time with his kids, and it's very evident here in Survival of the Unfittest, in which he sees like how Bobby has been sort of like been a wimp, recently. Well, he's been pretty much a wimp ever since Arturo left because he hasn't had a real father figure like near him to pretty much teach him the ways of roughing it, pretty much teach him how to be more manly and stuff like that. So, like to Arturo, this is his way of fixing this is his way of fixing it. Like this is his way of making up pretty
Lost
much his
time.
absence, making up his lost time. Exactly. He was making up his lost time that he could have had spending time with Bobby doing this kind of thing sooner.
Yeah, I never expect a father-son interaction like this. I mean, first off, we get to see Bobby like in his natural habitat. He's kind of scared of stuff everywhere. But then we never see Arturo, we get it. He's a nurse, but he came from Peru. We never see much of his story, to say the least. Knowing the fact that he ends up having this roughing, survival skills that he's been able to learn throughout his time in Peru, it makes sense for him to help out with Bobby's case, considering that he's, well, like I said, a whip. But yeah, I do love this little interaction here. Like, yeah, we get to see them have a movie night, but it's like kind of common that fathers and sons have that. But it's cool to actually have like Arturo, who's a father figure, tried to teach Bobby, who has been his son his whole life, to teach him skills and things to help him grow up and everything. But unfortunately, like you said, I mean, he wasn't there for the time when he grows up, that he needed this sort of time here for it to happen. And no doubt about it, that I think the whole idea of them camping out, getting that survival skills, definitely felt needed for Bobby.
Definitely. Yeah. So
also, did he also give you any flashbacks about that Roughing It episode with the episode of the Loud House where Lincoln and Clyde were roughing it themselves?
yeah, pretty much the best way to describe it is this. Like this is definitely a Casagrandes version of Roughing It, but it's an even better version of Roughing It, in my opinion, because let's be honest, folks, this episode contains much more music and much less farts.
Oh God, yeah. But this is a guy. Those are guys, and I'm like, yeah, these are like little kids trying to camp out. Yeah, that's gonna happen. I'm sorry, first season, but that was the first season episode, so you're expecting a lot of fart jokes, sadly.
Okay, yeah, that's true. I mean, like to be fair though, like you said, it was the first season, so that was when they were like starting fresh. That was when they were like building up the character. So I can understand that, but like still, the gross out humor just did not do it for me. I feel that with Survival of the Unfittest, it actually has much more wittier jokes than that.
Yeah, I think so. I think they actually learned from what happened in the Loud House and just make it a whole lot better for Arturo and Bobby to live out in the wild. So yeah, Arturo would teach him all he could, from making a tent, using a census, setting a trap, and fishing. After that fishing lesson, it seems that Bobby does have the skills to survive in the wild. But with all that confidence, Bobby wants to test his skills out in the wild without guidance as well. It turned out it didn't work out well. Bobby was out for a long time. Arturo tried to find him. Bobby would be attacked by an eagle, and soon the animals will go arrive with them. So did you expect this kind of turn out after what Bobby has learned? It feels like throughout the times that Arturo was trying to teach Bobby, it feels like Bobby just doesn't know how to do everything.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I totally feel for Bobby, and especially because I've never, roughed it myself. I never went out camping or roughing it, so chances are I would have been exactly like Bobby if I had went camping.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I would have been totally the Bobby.
You've been very civilized. You've never tried to camp out in the woods before.
Yeah, no, I'm just not that kind of guy. I'm not that camping sort of person. So, so yeah, I can totally understand Bobby's, struggle here, because let's be honest, camping in the woods for the first time can turn out to be pretty difficult, and especially when the animals for some reason don't like Bobby. Come on, who doesn't like Bobby? Even if you're an animal, you gotta love Bobby. Come on, love that Bobby Boo bear.
The thing is that...
it turns out that this bear doesn't love this Boo Boo Bear.
Oh, poor Boo Boo Bear. No, but I mean, there was that scene where like he crashed down to the animals, and then of course that made them go awry. So that was his fault for poaching into an eagle's nest, getting its eggs, and obviously falling into animals. So that was his fault for that.
He's just doing what he can to survive, though.
Right. And one thing I also want to bring up, bro, how do you pee with a guitar? Ew.
Exactly. Like, how do you do that? How does one play guitar and go number one at the same time?
That was weird. And even Arturo even said it too. How do you even do that? I'm like,
I wonder if there are YouTube videos in which there are people that play guitar while being at the same time. It's like, I hope there isn't.
I hope you don't search that up, fans. Please don't do that.
Oh God, I just gave. I
you just gave a suggestion to people. I'm sorry. What are you doing?
I apologize if I gave the wrong idea. Just like I always. You know how there's a saying, don't try this at home, kids? I'm just saying, don't try this ever. Okay? Not even at home, not even anywhere. Just don't even try to look it up.
That was the only thing I wanted to bring up. And then throughout the whole trials, I just keep seeing Bobby keep getting attacked by animals. Animals keep on laughing at him, especially that that stupid chipmunk. The stupid chipmunk literally treated him like a piñata. And I was like, oh, poor Bobby, you have to be like that.
Oh my God.
He's trying to set a trap.
Poor chip.
He's trying to set a trap. He saw an apple. I mean, yeah, it's gonna happen, but come on, bro. I mean, it's an apple. Just don't eat it. I know a big animal's gonna eat it. Oh my God.
Like, what does a chipmunk have against Bobby? Come on, chipmunk. Why got help Bobby?
He's just being fun. He's just laughing, just the fact that he was funny throughout the whole thing. I'm like, yeah, trying to survive and all, and it looks like you failed by setting a trap or failed by listening to your senses and all that. The babbling brook thing was also funny. Just the fact that like bees were like, he was stuck in a tent. And then like the bees were like, yeah, you can't find me. And then like the bees end up unzipping the thing and then attacked him. I'm like, oh, well, that's what you get.
Dude, poor guy, man. This is his first day. This is his first time camping. It's already a disaster for him.
I know, but he ended up fishing, right? He ended up getting that fish. By his pants.
Accidentally, but he still got it regardless.
Yeah, I'm still bugged about like how he's able to do that.
How does that work?
I don't know. You know what? Well, Bobby Santiago will tell us later. Hopefully later. So now, turned out everything was a disaster. We go to the scene where they were back in civilization. They're literally riding the Glart. Bobby would apologize for not learning his dad's survival skills correctly. Arturo will forgive him. But as the ride got a power outage, Bobby actually used one of Arturo's skills to work using his senses. And soon he would find a way to get the passengers out of the Glart by the stop train with the help of Bruno. So how did you like this part where Bobby uses survival skill to save everyone?
Okay. Like this is where what I love about this part is that it turns out that Bobby actually did learn a thing or two about survival from his dad after all, but he just used it in a different sense. Rather than use it in a nature setting in which Bobby's not used to. What I like about this is that he still uses his senses, but it's in a sort of area, like a part of society that Bobby is already used to. And that's what helps him manage to resolve the situation in the end with Bobby using his senses in his own way. Like, first off, I really do love that. And also the song that they sing. First of all, guys, I thought we don't talk about Bruno. Come on, guys.
No. Now we do in this episode. Now he's going to be your savior. He was supposed to be your savior. Even in that movie, too, he was also your savior.
Yeah, but at least that they acknowledge that. Like, second off, I do like how Bruno does come out and helps the people of Great Lakes City with the Glart situation. That was pretty awesome of him. Like, Bruno is the GOAT. Like, and it's not just this Bruno that's a GOAT. Okay, I'm just saying.
Okay, I didn't expect out of all people that Bruno would be the hero out of it all. I'm like, oh, okay. Never expected that.
Like in every universe, Bruno is always the hero.
I mean, here's the thing that also impressed me. I mean, I think it's the fact that Bobby learned the skill in the wild, but the wild is not his stomping ground. He would love to do it over in like a situation like this. Yes, he didn't learn it when he went to his dad's place, but after learning from the woods and then applying it to the Glart, for example, it ended up really working out for him by saving the passengers, using his skills to like sniff for those onions, and then listening to the fact that they're actually close to a park. So they're literally right underneath the park where the Casagrandes are. And just the fact that the music ended up working, that they were able to hear, that Bruno was able to hear them, and they were able to actually rescue everybody. And I thought that was pretty cool at the end. So yeah, Bobby now learned a skill, survival skill from his dad, and his dad also ended up being proud for learning it too. So in the end, it all turned out pretty well for Bobby.
Yes, if I were Arturo, I'd be proud of my boy. I'll be like, that's me, mijo. That is me, mijo.
So yeah, Arturo was proud to see Bobby use his survival skills, and Bobby agreed he was a good teacher at the end. Turns out we'll have a good ending, but those animals had another thing for them. How'd you feel about this ending where the animals, got into a car and try to chase Bobby and Arturo? What?
Like, what is that taxi driver thinking? Pretty much driving all these animals. Like, how did the animals even afford a taxi? Oh, wait, I forgot. Cartoon logic.
It's cartoon logic, yeah. It's cartoon beast.
and second off, yeah, Bobby is in for it now because the animals are right there and they're pretty much about to maim him alive. So
I mean, Bobby. Like when the animals like really pulled up to him and they're about to chase him down. It's like, yeah, Bobby, I'm sorry. The animals still have a thing for you, apparently. I don't know. I just found like it was like a weird way to end the episode. But I guess it's just more for like the comedy relief that happened in this episode. I guess I don't know. It just felt weird how the ending was. I'm like, it looked to be fine. Arturo and Bobby looked to be great, and then you get to see the animals come in and start to chase them down. I'm like, oh, we didn't need the animals again.
Yes, I know.
All right, that was pretty much how the episode is. Anything else you want to bring up from Survival of the Unfittest?
Yes. I'd like to see more. Like, strange enough, like, this is going to be weird hearing me say this. I would actually like to see more Arturo episodes if they're going to show him in this sort of light, okay?
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, Operation Dad, and
oh God.
Why'd
you bring it up? Why'd you bring it up?
No. Operation Dad is fine. I'm talking about the episode in which Operation Dad gave birth to.
Oh,
you know the episode I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, that fret episode. Yes, that fret episode.
Yes. I'd rather we not talk about that. And let's just say that
just remember,
I hope we see Arturo episodes in which they show him in this light rather than like how he was shown in that episode. Okay,
just remember a certain gossipy episode ended up beating out Teacher's Fret.
Yeah. Oh, trust me. Like, compared to that episode, let me tell you, like, Teacher's Fret to me is, it is a marvel. Like, it is Annie Award winner compared to that episode. So I'll give it that.
Right. I gotta say this though. This is definitely helping out Bobby. Hopefully, he uses the survival skills in the future, and I hope we get to see more Bobby and Arturo episodes because it's cool to actually have a father-son thing happen. I mean, we never see them interact, and it's cool to just see those two, have a bonding moment together. Who knows what they're gonna do next? Maybe a fun day out in the pier or a fun day out at Great Lake City. Who knows? I mean, it's good to see those two, interact, talk about stuff. Since the fact that Arturo wasn't there for Bobby for most of the time. So, yeah.
That's his way of making up for lost time. So, honestly, This is what I want to see more, especially as the series is about to come to an end. Like, we want to see Arturo spending more time with Bobby and Ronnie Ann. We hope we do get more episodes focused on that. And if not, don't worry, there's always the comics.
That's true, too. All right. How would you rate Survival of the Unfittest?
I would rate this a 8 out of 10. It was a pretty fun father-son episode to see. Definitely a much better version of Roughing It, and it also pretty much this episode does help Bobby to thrive and to survive and learn to survive in a wilderness. And of course, we do see how Bobby does struggle with it. And let me tell you, like, as someone who doesn't camp myself, I'd be like, yeah, I think that's how it would feel if I went camping. So yeah, they do really nail that part down. But they also really nailed down the ending in which like Bobby does end up using his sense of smell after all, but just in his own his own atmosphere that he's comfortable with, and he managed to pull it off successfully. Of course, this is one of those. This is a case where they do talk about Bruno, so major props to that. So we do talk about Bruno.
Like I said, good father son episode. If we could get more Arturo episodes, that'd be awesome. Really, really cool episode to see Bobby just try to learn things from his dad. So it was great, especially the fact in the end where he ended up being the hero after all. So yeah, a really good Bobby episode, and awesome time for Arturo to actually shine in this episode, knowing that he's a good teacher to teach Bobby how to survive in the wild and everything. Yeah. I also do want to put the fact that it is way better than Roughing It. we can talk about that all day, if anything. But yeah, throughout the Unfittest, I give it an 8 out of 10. It definitely was a good episode. Something that I would ever expected from Bobby and Arturo episode. Hope we get to see more. Like I said, I hope we get to see more father son episodes like this. Maybe we'll get to see them in Great Lake City because we know Arturo's here in Great Lake City for a long time now. So it's up to them it's up for the Casagrandes to give some good ideas before the show ends. Who knows? But yeah, this is a good Bobby and Arturo episode to start.
I agree.
All right, last but not least, let's actually talk about the last episode that also aired on the 17th of June. It's called Nixed Signals. This one definitely was one of my favorites, but let's talk about, we'll discuss this more as we review the episode. So the synopsis here is, Frida asks Carlota to spend a spa day with her to enjoy her quality time, but can they both stay off their phones? Yeah, that's a problem for everybody. So after our father-son episode, we now have a mother-daughter episode with Frida and Carlota. Again, an episode where we haven't seen these two interact that much. So how do you like that? How do you like the fact that we're having another like father and son? We have mother-daughter. How do you like the fact we have another episode like this?
Now, as I mentioned earlier, we did have a mother-daughter episode previously in the Casagrandes back in season 1, where in that episode it was the Santiago mother-daughter episode with Maria and Ronnie Ann. This time, however, it's the Casagrandes women's turn to pretty much take the spotlight. This time around, it's the Casagrande mother-daughter, Frida and Carlota. And let me tell you, they managed to pull this one off in flying colors. Like, I'm just going to say this right now. Like, this is honestly the best one of the 4 that we're going to talk about.
You know, we always keep on seeing father-son, mother-daughter having their own like episodes to say. I mean, you can all get to see Carlos and Carl. They'll hopefully get an episode soon. But, you know, I never expect to see... Well, here's the thing. Like, Carlota never really like socializes that much. She only socializes on her streaming to say. But then you also get to see Frida, for example. Frida's mostly into her art and mostly into like the family, like with Carlos and everybody else in the family. I just never get to see Frida and Carlota have their own alone time. So having this idea pop up, I'm like, I like it. I want to see how this goes. I mean, Frida is definitely a drama person, and Carlota is more of a
vlogging social media person.
It's more of a vlogging social media person. She's like a influencer. She's an influencer.
Yeah.
So yeah, how these two can interact together is going to be interesting. So that's what made me like this episode a whole lot. It's like, oh, the idea of it looks pretty cool. Now let's see how it is as we get to watch the episode. So let's go back to the episode where Carlota was preparing herself for a day out with her mom, but Frida had other plans. Since she knows Carlota was growing up so fast that it's making her sad. Do you feel the pain that Frida was having when, you know, she realizes that, like, Carlota's growing up? Are you not going to see my baby anymore? And then she cries up like that. How do you feel? Do you feel like her pain and everything? I mean, I understand. Yes. Yeah, I understand her case.
Yeah, definitely. Like, a lot of moms do feel that way when their kids are growing up fast. Like, for example, and this isn't the first time that we've seen this kind of dilemma in a Loud Casa episode, because going back to Loud House, like, we've seen Rita go through this too in Undercover Mom. But similar to how Frida feels here, like, Rita also felt that, you know, since, you know, Lori's out of college, And of course, Lenny, Luna, and Luann are growing up so fast, so they may leave too. This is a similar case here where Frida feels that like Carlotta's growing up too fast, and that now that Carlotta's growing up too fast, she may not have any more time to spend with Frida. Like there was already little time for Carlotta to spend Frida to begin with because she's busy doing her thing. But now that like she's almost off to college, like it's going to be even worse on Frida's end.
Because the fact is, Carlotta is like in the way of actually becoming into a college student soon. I mean, she's just right there. It just feels like, you know, Bobby and Carlotta are about in the same age range where, you know, they're going to end high school. They're about to go to college too. And I understand Frida's point, just for the fact that like, I'm not going to see my daughter ever again. I'm going to see her go off into the wilderness doing her own thing. This is like my only time I'm going to see her. And I understand why Frida gets up all dramatic and stuff like that. Again, the waterfalls come back. Frida is always like that. But yeah, I understand her pain. I understand why she's going to do this, that she needs to do something like that. Because we never get to see Carlotta and Frida do things like this again. It's like what happened before when Ronnie Yen and Carlotta never had much to click with. You know, that kind of thing. So it's the same thing here with Frida and Carlotta. So yeah, I feel like they needed something. They need some time together. I need to see that kind of interaction.
Definitely, me too.
So yeah, their mother-daughter date would start with Frida's latest gallery showing. It seems Carlotta was more focused on streaming than the gallery itself. Yet the gallery was only a sneak preview, only for their eyes, not anyone else's. Carlotta. Okay, not looking good. Not looking good in the first place. Well, what about their lunch plans? How about the lunch plans? I mean, Carlotta would also have fans decide what they're gonna eat. I guess again, Carlotta was more into streaming again. Frida didn't even like her hair. I mean, even the option about even getting a haircut too, because Frida didn't even like her haircut that Carlotta's fans were even giving her. So to say the least, the mother-daughter date looked to be a disaster for Frida mostly. Explain your thoughts on these moments here where Carlotta was mostly streaming and Frida's trying to do her best to get a good mother-daughter date here.
Welcome to modern society, Frida. Like, and especially for teenagers, especially when they're on the phones all the time and they're too busy on the phones to spend time with their parents. Yeah, this is exactly what modern society feels like. So yeah. And also, I do feel bad for Frida here because she's trying so hard. She's trying so hard to make this day work. But then Carlotta is like way too busy being an influencer and pretty much having the fans decide their day for them. Let me tell you, it's got to be painful for the poor woman. Like, and you can definitely tell here, like, especially like, look how Carlotta with the selfie is all smiles and stuff like that. And it's just like,
you know what's weird? No, you know what's weird is the fact that like in this stream here, Carlotta wasn't supposed to actually stream, considering there was a sneak preview for this gallery that Frida was opening up, and the fact that the gallery is actually relating to her family, for example. Like an example, was an art piece was for Carlos, an art piece was for Carl. That Choo Choo Choni's one was a Carl piece. Yeah, so that was definitely not cool for Carlotta to actually just stream while Frida just literally said, "This is a sneak preview. What are you doing?"
You could have asked for permission, Carlotta. Just saying.
Right, exactly. But how about that lunch thing too? Because it feels like, again, Carlotta was controlling it all. Because the thing is that Frida was able to get the reservation after what, 5 months?
5 months.
Yeah.
That place is packing. That place is popular.
Yeah, that place is very popular. And again, Carlotta continues to be that influencer where she lets her fans decide what to get, like those mud drinks and like some sort of like burrito. Remember back in the days where we kind of said Carlotta's kind of like, why are you like this, Carlotta? Why are you like this? It just feels like this is the same thing we're seeing again. Why are you like this, Carlotta?
Like, you were doing so well in Operation Popstar, and then you had to revert to being back into a Meg character. I was like, come on, Carlotta, we want you to go forward, not backwards. You're going backwards.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like,
one step forward, 2 steps back.
Right. When I saw that, I'm like, okay, Carlotta, what are you doing? I know your mom is right there, but your mom's not supposed to. It's not really the influencer, just like Carlotta. So obviously, she's gonna be out of whack and all. You don't control her kind of. You don't control her kind of day, especially the fact that I think she planned it up for her. So yeah, I was just like, okay, got back to this ignorant Carlotta again, which I've seen before. Hopefully, she doesn't be like that. Remember, was it Undivided Attention? You know, kind of felt like that. Yeah.
And strange enough, similar to that, she was also addicted to her phone in that episode, similar to this. The only difference is that, unlike with Undivided Attention, where she was pretty much addicted to the Safari game. Here, however, she's addicted to
Just streaming.
vlogging. Just
Yeah,
streaming.
she's just streaming. I mean, like, I get it. She has a lot of fans. She's being that influencer. But if this is how influencers are, they're kind of like jerks to say. And I kind of don't want Carlota to be like that.
Yeah, no, it's like, you know, if I were Frida, let me tell you, I would have just taken that phone just like with
like
my foot.
pound
You know?
it. But she never did.
I would have pulled an
But-
Isaiah
yeah.
Orihara on
Hara, yeah. I mean, like there was times where I get to see Frida get angry about it, but at the same time, she never pulled the phone. All she did was pretty much play along with it, and she ended up getting a bad lunch. She ended up getting her gallery shown before the public, and she even got bangs.
Oh gosh, yeah,
that was bad.
the
Look. It was a bad
bangs.
look.
In which you can't see. Yeah, let me tell you, like, it doesn't surprise me that the bangs are the final straw. It's like
I
it's the
think
straw
I
that broke the camel's
understand that.
back.
Yeah, but yeah, now after that whole haircut dilemma, we can get to see how Frida just got frustrated and got angry about her. So Carlota would apologize for being ignorant to her mom and made a huge sacrifice, a very huge sacrifice, by having Frida take Carlota's phone. Oh, and it seems all is well because they now went to their spa. That is until a phone started blowing up. Like, oh, you get to see like all these notifications pop up, boom, 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 and it turned out to be Frida's phone. It turned out that the gallery
that's one of the most shocking plot twists in an episode, where instead of the phone being like Carlota's phone that is blowing up, it's actually Frida's phone instead. That is a shocking plot twist of events.
Yeah, I'm like surprised that Frida was actually having all the shocks, but it was because Carlota helped with the gallery, that everybody loved the gallery. That's why Frida ended up getting a lot of like messages from people. And what the art gallery person said, I forgot the guy's name, but he said, interact with your fans. They're loving it. Kind of feels like Carlota behavior all over again.
And you wonder where Carlota gets it from. You see where Carlota gets that behavior from now.
Yeah, so right when her phone started buzzing, she'll do what it takes to make sure Carlota doesn't see what she was on when she was on her phone on this mother-daughter date. So what were your feelings for Carlota and Frida during this time in the spa? Because we get to see Carlota sacrifice her phone. She's pretty much chill without the phone, while Frida is doing the opposite and actually acting like Carlota and actually started like blowing up with her phone. How do you feel about this?
I think what I like about this is that rather than having the entire episode being Carlota on her phone and Frida trying to make it work, the episode takes a brilliant approach to this and pretty much has Carlota and Frida kind of like, switch roles, the roles are reversed, in which it's Frida that is addicted to her phone and it's Carlota that tries to make the day work. It really does show how both characters do tend to get hooked into their favorite things, and pretty much do tend to pretty much put their interests over spending time with their loved ones. Like, I do like how it's pretty much both that can delve into this, because adults do have this sort of problem too, not just teenagers. So I really do like this approach, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, this was just a huge role reversal. The fact that Carlota would be the one to sacrifice her phone and not get like any notifications or anything buzzing from her phone, and then out of the blue, Frida would be the one that actually would do the same thing and actually start texting with people, start messaging with other fans of her gallery. That she's just being interactive, just like what Carlota does. So it's like, what's going on here? So I understand. In this case, like, Frida definitely was angry at Carlota for, being like just being on your phone the whole time. That's why Carlota did the whole sacrifice thing. And then seeing the fact that Frida was doing all the phone things like Carlota did before is the fact that that's the reason why Frida was like, I just want to make sure Carlota doesn't see this. So she ended up doing a lot of things like massage, for example, the steam going high so that Frida doesn't see her text and all. She did whatever it takes to make sure Carlota doesn't see Frida is doing the same thing like Carlota does. So I like this whole role reversal. I'm like, okay, at least Carlota's being civil and nice, while Frida's actually like nice before, and now she's actually being distracted by a phone. This was really interesting. It was a really nice idea. Like, I never see Frida being so interactive like that, and never see Carlota be so chill like that. So it's awesome. Like, it's cool to see that.
Yeah, I do like how like it's a role reversal, and it really does show how how while Carlota pretty much loves being a vlogger, like Frida is similar in a way that she loves being an artist. She pretty much is passionate about it up to a point where she can value art over spending time with loved ones sometimes, much like similar to how we saw Carlota in the beginning with her vlogging.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so interesting to see just the fact that because of Frida's gallery turning up to blow up, that she starts interacting with the fans with her phone. But the fact that Carlota can actually spend some time off and actually get off the phone was the best thing, I think, for Carlota, because we've always talked about this before, where Carlota always is on her phone and she's always being distracted. It started to be a nuisance. That literally when she took off the phone, she turned out to be a really chill person. Like, maybe get off the phone, if anything.
Exactly. Like I do like it shows Carlota like finally growing. It shows Carlota
Yeah,
finally starting to change her ways, which I really like that.
yeah, I thought that was just good to see, and the fact that Carlota was just an amazing person just without the phone. But yeah, Carlota. So during their spot time, uh, Frida would get a huge opportunity to be a huge, by being huge, by having the town's local news anchor interview her, but she forgot Carlota was still in the spa with her. Yeah, so when she found out about this, Carlota definitely fumed, since Frida was pretty much doing the same thing like Carlota. This led Frida apologizing and realizing Carlota's art was like social media and blogging, just like Frida was with her art. As they get more fans and have them pretty much really be engaging to their fans. How did you like this resolution between the two ladies?
Yeah, I really do like that bit where Carlota yells at Frida, is like, "You're such a hypocrite." It's like, look at
That was
that.
great. No, I never expect to actually hear that. Just the fact that like Carlota comes out of the mud spa and then sees Carlota sees Frida sees her mom on the phone, and then of course it's like, you're such a hypocrite. I'm like, it's true. It is true in that case.
But then again, Carlota, you did sort of accidentally, you did reveal the art to your vlogger. So in a way, it's kind of your fault too. So that's
I
partially
never
your
expect to
fault.
actually hear the word hypocrite in a kids show.
I think hypocrite has been thrown around like a few times in kids shows. It's just the first time in a while that we've heard hypocrite in a kids
Yeah,
show.
but it does make sense considering like when Carlota comes out and sees Frida on her phone, it's like, wait, didn't you tell me not to get on the phone? Then it does make sense for her to be a hypocrite in this case.
Yeah, and look at this. Carlota, I like the way Carlota yells because Carlota yells peanut style, where like she pretty
Yeah,
much raises her head and then all you see is just the top of her nose and her mouth, the big mouth, like sort of like
yeah,
peanut face. Carlota,
right,
it
right.
has a peanut's face.
But yeah, continue on if you want if you explain any more.
Um, yeah, it really does show like, and then I really do like how after this, they pretty much managed to work it out by saying that it turns out that Frida's love for art isn't really different from Carlota's love of vlogging because, like I said, there are the things that the two are passionate about up to a point where, like I said, they value um, like they value doing what they love, and they each have a tough time, sort of like um, putting it aside to spend time with each other. And what I do love about this is, like I said, it's pretty much both of them that don't have this problem. It's not just one or the other, and it makes me think they really are mother daughter. Like I can see where Carlota gets it from now, like
Right.
pretty much that sort of
So
thing.
yeah, I mean, this whole revealing scene definitely was heartwarming. The fact that they actually realized that they have their own fans as well. The way that they interact with them is a different way possible. Like Frida, when it comes to art, she mostly just in the gallery and interacting with her fans. But knowing the fact that she's away from the gallery, she goes to her phone and does all this stuff for her to interact with her fans. Carlotta, on the other hand, she'll do whatever it takes to get as much fans. She would go to events, start live streaming there. She would live stream pretty much anywhere to get her fans to engage with her. And to say the least, they both have the same like concept. Like they have their own fans. They have different ways for them to interact with each other. That they're really familiar with that. Like they're both literally have the same similarities to say. And I do love this whole like lovely interaction between the two of them. Like, besides the fact that like, yeah, Frida did end up being like Carlota in one end, and then of course Carlota being a jerk in the beginning too. So yeah, I mean, like, it kind of is like the mixed signals here, like the title says. Carlota being was it a blogger then, and then you get to see Frida becoming a huge phone fan on the other end as well. It just tells you like these both have similar character traits, and I do love the fact that they interact like that. And I think this is just cool, just to see how Frida and Carlota are like similar together.
Yeah, I really do agree. Like I said, they really are mother-daughter in that aspect.
So I want to ask you, with this sort of thing going on with Frida and Carlota, how does this relate to you, to say?
It sort of relates to me because I do tend to sometimes be stuck in my own thing, when I'm supposed to be, spend time like, with my family and my mom and stuff like that. Like, I love spending time with them, but let's be honest though.
Are you gonna be live streaming? Are you gonna be live streaming on your next vacation?
Well, I mean, like, I'm on Instagram and Twitter often, so you pretty much know how it is. It's sort of like that.
Yeah, I mean, there have been times where I'm like with my mom and with my parents, my sister as well, but there are interests that don't interest me. For example, that I would be on my phone just taking pictures, selfies and stuff like that. Kind of like how Carlota behaves. So to say the least, we're kind of related towards Carlota to say the least.
We're all Carlota. Let's be honest. We all have our
yes,
Carlota
we are pretty much Carlota. We're not as huge influencers like Carlota, but we want to be like that. Try to get as much fans as possible.
I mean, let's be honest. This is the closest thing we'll get to it. This podcast is the closest thing.
And you know what? I think Carlota does represent a good example for those that want to be, quote, big. That they want to be famous and stuff like that. She's definitely showing a big example. The fact that, like, yeah, she does a lot of these vlogs and streaming and all this stuff, but it just tells you how kind of a jerk you are to your parents or to people that are close to you. But at the same time, unplugging is also a good thing for her, because without it, she's actually turned out to be a really nice person. So, I mean, there's a bad side to social media. There's a good side to social media.
And yeah, I like how it shows how, like, it's not just when it comes to social media, there is no side that is just good and there's no side that are just bad. No, there are some good and there are some bad that comes along with it. That's what I like about how this episode plays it.
I do love how, like I said, how Frida ends up actually trying to be like Carlota. It turned out to actually work out. It gets a lot of fans out of it. Hey,
oh my gosh,
God, just that whole interaction in the end where Carlota just goes like, "You're such a hypocrite." I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that, but it is true. Yeah. It is true that happened.
It is true.
But it's great. It was a great like resolution at the end though, just to have those two hang out. But here's the thing: it didn't end. The episode didn't end like that though. Because we go back to the Casagrande Familia where, we forgot about how Carlos and the boys are. Turns out Carlos was still having a rough time with the boys. That is until Carlota and Frida returned. Well, not really them. They're mud forms, actually. I don't know how they did it. I'm like, Frida ended up making a mud sculpture of herself. So I'm guessing with both of their skills together, they end up making their mud versions of them.
I think it's mostly Frida, because Frida, how artistic she is.
But after colliding with the mud figures, the boys thought they were destroyed. Like, what did you do? And of course, they all become in a panic to say, while the girls are literally just chilling in the top of the roof. How did you like this whole ending here?
I thought it was really funny. Of course, it's obvious to tell from the mud figure to the person because, well, the actual person actually does have human flesh. But then again, they are kids, so it is kind of expected that they would fall for it. And then you do see, like, up on the top, like, they're pretty much chilling.
They're still having their day even past 3:00.
Yeah, I do like how they managed to work it out and still manage to make their girls' day work, even if it is past 3. It's like you can still make it work just like this.
I still find it very hilarious, the fact that they thought they destroyed Carlota and Frida from just colliding to their mud figures. And then literally, like, what Carl said was like, "Dad, what did you do?" and then they all were in a panic. Ah!
I love it.
The top of the roof, they're like, "Did you hear that?" Then no, and then they're just chilling back again.
Love it.
I would say this good ending, really good ending from an episode like this.
Yes.
All right. Anything else you want to bring up from this episode?
Nothing much except it's nice to see back to back the Santiago father son and the Casagrande mother daughter sort of day. It's nice to see like back to back how their personal interactions would go, and I do hope that we get more episodes like this where it's just two family members, like two Casagrandes or two Santiagos, or maybe even one Casagrande, one Santiago, just spend time with each other. I want to see more of these episodes.
My thing now is that if we end up getting like a good episode like this, can we have a redemption episode for, say, for example, Ronnie Ann and Arturo? Because yeah, please do that. I can feel like Arturo and Ronnie Ann can have a better episode than what happened back in Operation Dad.
Or the episode that we shall not be named. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'd like to see that. I like to see that.
Yeah, don't ruin their love life, Ronnie Ann, please. Oh man, but yeah, I mean, one more thing I also do want to bring up. Yeah, the bangs idea was terrible.
Well, yeah, you can't because you can't see. Because you can't see.
No. You can have bangs like this, but you can't have bangs all the way down to your eyes. I'm like, your fans really like that, Carlota? Why would you do that to your mom?
Yeah, come on. Why are you trying to make her into Lucy? Okay, only Lucy would pull off the bangs.
It's true. That's true. But yeah, I got nothing much to say. It definitely was good. Like out of all the 4 episodes we reviewed, this one definitely, we saved this one for best of last because it definitely did show like a little bit of us, reflect us, like how we are when it comes to like social media and stuff like that, to like a big awesome interaction between Carlota and Frida, which we never had before, and it turned out to work out really well between the two of them. So yeah. I mean, how would you rate this episode?
9 out of 10. It's definitely pretty much one of the best episodes of the season already. It's definitely right up there with Skatey Cat. Skatey Cat, of course, still takes number 1, but Nixed Signals, I would say, is top 2 or top 3 material. It's really that stellar. Just by the fact that it presents how both sides, both generations even, can have their own addictions, can have their own interests, and that they tend to put their own interests above spending time with their loved ones. I do like how it's both Carlota and Frida that do have this problem rather than just Carlota herself. That's really refreshing. So it gives sort of like an equal blame, and put them on equal ground in a sense. And they do manage to make it work in the end by pretty much stating that Frida's love for art is the same as Carlota's love for vlogging. And so they, of course, managed to make their, mother-daughter date work still by, like, even after 3, by making those mud statues of themselves while chilling up on the roof. It's like, that was really awesome.
I love this episode. I mean, it relates to me a whole lot. The fact that Carlota kind of feels like me. And like I said before, Carlota and Frida never having an episode like that. They never had like a mother-daughter episode. And just having these two interact together definitely showed a whole lot about like who we are. Also, like, I get it. I'm like Carlota. I like to stream a lot. I love taking a lot of pictures and selfies. I will be on my phone too, like Frida, for example, when it comes to like people commenting on my stuff. Like, oh, they like this? Okay, I'll interact with them too. By messaging them, even having a one-on-one interview with a news anchor. I do. It just was great. I get it. Both Carlota and Frida do have the same similarities when it comes to their fans. And the way that they both treated are different, but at the same time, you know that they're both similar in a way that they end up having fans for whatever they are into. I give this a 9. I give this 9.5 out of 10. I love it. It was one of my favorite episodes of season 3. I just wish we get to see more of Carlota and Frida together because they do work together as a duo. But who knows? I love this interaction with Carlota and Frida. It's just great.
I really do too. It's something we've been meaning to see for a long time. Like,
I know.
Ever since I heard the plot summary,
I really hope we get to see more like father-son interactions. Like, say, for example, Carl and Carlos, or CJ and Carlos, or maybe was it Maria
Hector.
and Bobby? for example, mother-son interactions probably too.
I wonder how that would work.
Yeah, we'll say it goes to like Frida and Carl. Well, then again, that would actually turn into mayhem.
Yes, especially when it comes to the second character you mentioned.
Yeah. Oh no, or maybe like a Frida CJ episode. That would be pretty cool.
Okay, that sounds better.
That'll be even better because it's like Frida would be there to root CJ on for whatever it is. Yeah, that would make me think about like more father son, mother daughter episodes if there's gonna be any.
Definitely.
All right. Well, that's pretty much it. We have reviewed 4 episodes of the Casagrandes, and that's it for our Casagrandes episode reviews live stream today. Remember that you can listen. Remember that you can listen to the Loud Casa Talks podcast on all podcast providers, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. We'll be there. And just also a heads up, please also follow our YouTube channel as well. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit the red button and notify and. Also, hit the bell so you'll be notified when we'll be live on YouTube. And also, thank you all for watching on our Twitch channel. If you guys want to, please follow our new Twitch channel, twitch.tv/loudcastatalks. We'll do our episode reviews here and also do our podcast episodes here as well. So if you want to be the first people in hand to watch us do podcast episodes or episode reviews, please subscribe. Please follow our Twitch channel so you can be notified when we come on and all. All right, and I'll just let you guys know next Wednesday we do have a brand new episode of not the Loud Casa Talks, but it's the episode reviews of Loud House episodes. So yeah, next Wednesday on the 20th, we're going to be reviewing 4 episodes of The Loud House, Bummer Camp, Sleep Stakes, Catastrophe, and Prize Fighter. So yeah, those 4 episodes are coming up. So if you guys love those Loud House episodes, come back here next Wednesday. We'll be here live on Twitch to stream. And yeah, we have another awesome week of reviews.
Definitely. So get ready for more. Loud Crown and Casa Crew, get ready for more.
And yeah, that's pretty much it for us here. So thank you all for checking out the stream tonight. For those who are going to be watching it on YouTube, thank you all for watching it. Just a heads up, the stream always happens on Wednesdays and the recording will always pop up on YouTube on Thursdays. So if you are watching this on YouTube on Thursday, thank you all for supporting us there. Also, like I said, subscribe, like, and all that jazz. But that's it for us here. My name is Nate.
And this is Omid saying, it's so good to be back, y'all. So good to be doing this again. I know it's been a couple of weeks, but this was definitely a good way to make a comeback. So thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for listening. And until next time, smell you later, Casa Crew.